Tonight on Another Thing About Tartan, as part of our Clan of the Month celebrations for Clan Logan, I am delighted to welcome Steven Logan from Canada, virtually of course, to tell us his story. Steve is the Canadian Commissioner for Clan Logan Society International and the founder of the Clan Logan Society of Canada. I first met Steven back in 2019 during our Canadian tour of Highland Games. Ahead of us travelling out to Canada, we sent a Tartan Teddy made up in the maple leaf tartan out ahead of us. And Steven, along with many other kind volunteers, helped us get Tartan Ted coast to coast via various Highland Games, Scottish societies and pipe bands, all starting at Victoria Highland Games and then meeting us at Fergus Scottish Festival before coming back here to Scotland with us. So here is a photo of Steven and I at Fergus Scottish Festival, along with Joan Macaulay from Clan Macaulay. So let's hope that next year we'll be able to recreate that. Hi Steven, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Oh, amazing. So Steven, where in Canada are you joining us from this evening then? And have you always lived in Canada?
Yeah, good questions. I'm living basically at the tip of the island of Montreal, which is Verdun. It's a borough of the island of Montreal. And I've been here most of my life. It's been an interesting journey because although I've been here and I've lived here most of my life, I did spend some time living in France. So in 2007 to 2009, I was living in Bordeaux-Aquitaine, France. And I have to say it was quite a privilege to live in France because I'm a dual national, right? So I had the right to live and just experience France.
Oh, amazing. And so have you celebrated your Scottish roots from a young age then?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I'm kind of born in French Quebec, but although I'm born in French Quebec, I was raised by a Scottish mother. So of course I had all the Scottish things going on and I had links to my family and so on. And I was kind of like raised on fricassee and Scottish foods and different things. So it was kind of an interesting upbringing. So I was kind of always in tune with my Scottish side. And what's kind of odd is either I was like 5 years old and my mother insisted I speak to my Scottish relatives. And I was like, you want me to speak to who? You know, because when you're a little, you don't know who you're going to talk to. And it was the strangest thing because I got to speak to my Aunt Agnes who lived in Moniaive. I don't know if you know Moniaive.
Not too well, but yeah.
Yeah, it's Glencairn Parish, Dumfries and Galloway. That's where she lived. And as a young boy, I remember listening to her and not understanding a word she was telling me. I wanted to be polite, and my mother was like, "Come on, speak to your Aunt Agnes." And I'm like, "Oh, what do you want me to say?"
Well, yeah, especially at that age where you speaking both French and English.
Yeah, and she wanted me to be very polite and just meet the family. And it was very interesting because later on, as I grow older, well, my interest in my Scottish heritage grew as well because there were many details I didn't know about the Scottish side of my family and all the rest. And I kind of needed to know. So in 2005, I managed to go to Scotland. And on my first journey, I met up with Aunt Agnes for the very first time.
Oh, brilliant.
It was strange because there I am in Scotland, in the same home she had like years and years and years. But this time I understood everything she told me.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're able to understand her.
Yeah, but it takes training. It takes training for the year and all the rest. So you have to take your time and just go at it gradually. And it was very strange because from that moment on, my interest in Scotland and my interest in Scottish heritage grew. You know, it was like, whoa, let's get going.
Yeah, I can imagine. And so how do you think your Scottish heritage has shaped your world view then?
Well, it gave me a greater understanding of what was to come next, oddly enough, because, I was kind of at that time starting to just affirm my Scottish side and just kind of get to know like different things in terms of Scotland, wearing kilts and getting busy with that. It's just, when I met my Aunt Agnes, I realized how can I say that? The Scottish are very calm people. They're very laid back and very relaxed. And that's kind of a strange concept for me in Canada, right? Because everything's kind of the American way where I'm come from. And in Scotland, everything is a little more slow paced. We'll have some tea, we'll talk.
Yeah.
And I think that was just amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. And so what does being a member of Clan Logan mean to you?
Well, it means connecting to your ancestry, your heritage, your culture in order to get a better understanding of yourself, the past, and the future, basically. Because when you connect to your clan, you get certain answers relating to your heritage that maybe you didn't know. And you build on that and you start meeting other people also within the clan, right? Because being part of a clan means joining your distant cousins. It means sharing experiences, participating with community in different ways. And the community can be here in Canada, in the US, like I go and I serve the US counterpart of Clan Logan as well when I do the Vista games with James C. Logan. So we're part of a big family. That's the wonderful part.
Oh, I think you put that beautifully. Yeah. And so how did you then first get involved with Clan Logan Society International?
Whoa, that's a long story. I'm going to try to keep it simple for you.
No problem.
Well, sometimes you wonder, geez, I wish I had the answers my parents didn't tell me. And my mother was kind of secretive about the Logan side of her family because of painful situations linked to her past. And it was a little of a sensitive topic. So as I grew older and I became an adult, I decided to look around. And suddenly I came up and I looked at the internet and I went, oh, Clan Logan Society International. So I started, oh, there's a Clan Logan Society International. So I read about it. And suddenly I kind of was interested to find out more. Because then it just explained that you're going to know more about your heritage, connect with people, and so on. And I kind of really needed that to kind of understand where my mother was coming from when she raised me and why she thought Canada would be the place to be, coming all the way from Scotland, of course. So it was just so interesting because I was there looking for my answers, and then I got the newsletter and I was starting to read the different articles that the members were writing. And it was very interesting. I read different things and I thought, geez, maybe I should write an article or two, or maybe I should do something. And being an ESL teacher, because that's who I am originally, I'm an English teacher, I like communicating. I like meeting people. I like doing things. I like being active. So James C. Logan said, well, what if we appoint you like Clan Logan, like representative of Quebec? And I thought, okay, I'll try that. I gave it a chance and I tried it. So I've been active and I've been going around in the kilt and displaying the Logan colors and promoting Clan Logan, and it just became like a second nature. And I felt this passion of meeting people and sharing with them and exchanging. And it just grew from there, which was kind of amazing.
Yeah, it sounds great. And I think a lot of people probably have shared a similar experience. As soon as they discover that community, then they want to get fully involved, don't they?
Yeah, and it's an amazing experience. People don't realize how important it is to join a clan, but it's worth trying. So please join yours.
Thank you. And then, like you said, for a while you moved over to France, and I know during your time there you actually became the French commissioner for Clan Logan. So how did the role in France differ to your role in Canada?
I think that question's so interesting because it has so many different facets to it. It's kind of strange because before leaving and moving to Bordeaux-Aquitaine, France, where I lived a few years, I had some experience here in Canada, explaining what Clan Logan's about, meeting with people. And the people here in Canada, it's a country of immigration, so there's lots of different cultures here. And they're very open to know more about Scotland and Clan Logan. And, oh, yes, Scottish people wear sporrans and all that. So they're very open-minded. And I'm lucky because I'm in Montreal. And in Montreal, one of the founding peoples of Montreal are the Scots, right? Because I don't mean to say it in a negative way, but the English would send the Scottish to Montreal to build the roads and to build the buildings because they're very hardworking and very trustworthy people. And they get the job done. So as a result, well, they got involved, the Scots here. So for Canada, the Scottish culture is just very dominant. It's dominant to a certain point, but I'm going to talk about that in another question. When I moved to France, that was the tricky part because here I am moving to France and I had my reasons at the time. I just wanted to be a little closer to my family in Scotland. And I thought maybe by living in France, I could just go back and forth and just come back. But it didn't really work out like that. I thought I could just teach English as a second language at that end, which I managed to do, but I also decided to see if I could promote Clan Logan. So James C. Logan says, okay, here's the role. So why don't you become like the representative of Clan Logan France? And I told him, I said, are you really giving me a whole country to do? That's a big veto. That's a lot of work, because that requires a lot of visibility everywhere, as much as you can. So there I am trying to interest people into Clan Logan in France, and my French is French-Canadian French. So it's not exactly the same as the French from France in terms of language. Yeah. So there was a lot to deal with in terms of the mentalities and understanding of Scottish culture. So I give you just an example, a linguistic example. Like, we wear kilts in Scotland, we have Scottish kilts. And the French would drive me absolutely crazy, and they would say, a jupe écossaise. And I said, jupe écossaise? A Scottish skirt? No, 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 I do not wear a skirt.
Yeah.
So you see, you have different words like that you have to kind of adapt. And I didn't know what to do about skin do. So you know what the skin do is. And how do I explain that to them? So I had to say, like a knife. And that goes in your hose. But hose, in my country, I would say des bas. But des bas in France, that's pantyhose for women. So I couldn't use that term. So I had to use chaussette écossaise, and then they understood. So it's they're quite open to culture, the French. It's just that they have a certain understanding based on their own history. So they're allied the challenge of promoting Clan Logan. And in France, you don't have many Scottish organizations. So I was kind of alienated in that respect. So I didn't know what to do. So I joined a Scottish country dance group. And I was able to do some Scottish country dancing in France, and also go with Scotch Mist, which is a band in Bordeaux that does Celtic music. And we would go around doing parades and that type of thing, displaying our Logan colors and so on. So yes, it was just another way of doing things. And if you're asking me if there are like Highland Games in France, my answer would be no. You have a few events like the Festival Celtique de Lorient, which is up north. But keep in mind, I was there for a few years. I was trying to settle down. So I couldn't do as much as I wish I could. But that's how it goes.
Yeah. Well, I know we still have a strong customer base out in France, but I think for us, a lot of the customers there just appreciate the quality of Scottish products, opposed to looking to connect with their clan heritage as much as in North America. So,
absolutely. And at least I was able to go to Paris. I was in Nantes. I was in La Baule-Escoublac, which is on the coast of France, and it's where you have the biggest beach in Europe. So very, very interesting. And I was in Bordeaux and surrounding area. And at one point, I even, oddly enough, went down to Spain because I was close by. So it was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Oh, well, it sounds great. And like you say, a bit of a different challenge, but I'm sure one you enjoyed.
But this is the thing. I mean, people like you and people at ScotlandShop make the difference for people like me, because you're supporting us and you're doing what you can for us. And that's a really nice energy, and I can't thank you enough for that.
Oh, well, like you say, we love to get involved and support the clans. So, yeah, anything we can do, then we'll be there. So. And then, so I assume it was after you came back to Canada, you must have then gone on to set up the Clan Logan Society of Canada. So how did that all come about, and what prompted you to set up your own society?
Yeah, that was such a big deal for me, because I had just come back from France and I was settling here. And James C. Logan said, well, you know, it would be kind of nice if you opened like a Clan Logan branch in Canada. And I said, really? You'd want that? And I was kind of not sure if I was going to do that or not. I mean, it's quite something to start a Clan Logan association, or any Scottish clan association you would choose. But you see, by the time I came back to Canada, I had some experiences. So I knew what to do. I kind of, you know, sometimes you have aptitudes that you develop in time. Like I had linguistic skills. I had some organizational skills. I hosted certain events. So this gave me the ideas of how to set up the Scottish clan here in Canada. So I decided, okay, let's go, let's try it. What do I have to lose anyway, right? If you don't try,
Oh,
you don't get.
yeah. Oh, I like
Yeah.
that attitude.
Yeah, you have to be very open-minded, and I always tell people, be very careful if you want to try and do an organization, a Scottish organization. It's not as easy as it seems, because many people would tell me, oh, it's a hobby, you're enjoying your hobby. That would make me so angry, because a hobby, it's not as much work as a Scottish organization.
Yeah,
Because
I can imagine.
yeah, you have a Scottish organization, so you have to make sure that you satisfy your members, and then you have to maintain your relationships to different people who organize Highland Games, and then also your relationship with other clans, and so many people that come into consideration. So it's a big deal if you decide to get into this, and you can't just back out because you don't feel like doing it anymore, because too many
Yeah.
people are relying on you. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Oh, well,
Yeah,
it's great that you took that leap and have built that community.
yeah, it's just a wonderful experience once you try it. Many people don't realize that. They look at Scottish organizations, and I'm sure the first thought is, oh, that costs money to do. That's expensive, and there's no yield to it. I'm not selling a product, so it's not worth doing. But it really is, because it's rewarding in so many ways. It is a full-time job. You're not paid for it, but you get so many other rewards, and you get to meet people you would never imagine you could meet. And you get to see places, and you get experiences that are always different. So there's always something to do, and you're always busy, but it's something fun to do. And it's something that you can instill your vision in. And Clan Logan was never visible in Canada, right? So I had the freedom of deciding everything I wanted for Clan Logan. And it's an amazing power, because no one can criticize you and say, no, you can't do it like that, or no, this is wrong. You just go, you do what you can, and then you just perfect it on your way as you go with the people you meet.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, I think you've led me on nicely to my next question, which is, what would you say the most rewarding aspect of running the society is then?
Yeah, I think one word comes to mind, the unexpected. It's so much fun, because you get to go at various Highland Games, and you get to meet different people. And sometimes you go to another Highland game that you've been to the following year, and it's completely different. It's a different organization, or you have new clans, so you're able to meet up with new people. So you never ever get bored. And I hate getting bored personally, especially in my current job. Sometimes you do. I mean, it's redundant, it's the same. But this is like camping without the problems. That's how I see it, because you're outside, you have your tent, you have your displays. So it's just so much fun. And I wish people would get into that, because the clans, we're having difficulties, because the clans, it's an older group of people who are in charge. So we need more young people to get into clans and start clan associations and help out. But we have to create that link between clans and people. So there's still a lot of work to do in that respect, I think. Yeah.
And so is that your vision for the future of the society then, to try and get more young people involved?
Well, of course, that's my main aim now. The problem that we have is that we're an armigerous clan, so we don't have a chief just yet. So membership trickles in. So it's not a strong membership that I have in Canada. So that's preventing me from doing concrete things for the clan, like registering it federally and making it really grow so I can get donations and so on. But I'm working on it. And right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to continue Clan Logan's expansion, right? I'm trying to get a representative for Clan Logan in each Canadian province. And so far, I've managed to appoint Patrick Diancuno, who's my representative for Ontario. And he's great. Ontario has a lot to be proud of. And it's just such a pleasure to meet up with people along the way who believe in their culture and their heritage, and who want to wear their clan colors, and who want to celebrate and just pay tribute to the Scots. And I think that's very important. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Well, my colleague Kaylin is going to interview Patrick soon as well, isn't she? So, yeah, we can catch up with him too.
Yeah, and I'd like to create something concrete for the Logans and make sure that their heritage is protected for the future generations. This was the reason, one of the reasons I decided to go in with Clan Logan and, founded here in Canada. When you do something like that, you don't do it for yourself. You do it for the next generation of Logans, because you want those people to have a resource to know who they were, so that they can assimilate that and go forward to the future. So, Hoc Maiorum Virtus, this is the valor of my ancestors. Be proud of who you were, be proud of who you are now, and continue towards your goal. So that's what you have to focus on.
Oh, well, there you go. Sounds great. And so, to join the society then, do you need to be Scottish, or what could I expect from joining the society?
I think traditionally when you join a Scottish clan, you should associate to the names that you have linked to your septs or your associated names. The Clan Logan Society of Canada and the Clan Logan Society International, basically, we share the same thing, right? Because the same way of functioning. And we're open to all Logans of Scottish descent. We're open to friends of Logans. We're open to everyone, because everyone somewhere in time has a Scottish connection. So maybe I have some members, their last names are not Logan, but there's a Logan somewhere in their tree. So it matters for them to be a part of it, you know? And I welcome everyone. And it's just great. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's for myself. I'm part of the Clan Wallace Society, but it was my great-grand who was Wallace. It's not my last name, but like you say, I still want to connect with it. So I totally understand that.
Yeah, and I think you have to think of, okay, I'm going to join this clan. I'm joining a greater. I'm joining a greater group. I'm actually part of something important. You know, it's something that's growing, something cultural. It's important.
Oh, yeah. And so, if you weren't busy enough through your roles with Clan Logan, there's a bit of a list coming here. You're also Treasurer for CASOC, which is the Clans and Scottish Societies of Canada. So again, a way that we've been able to keep in touch during lockdown was through their AGM. And also, you're an active member of the Montreal St Andrews Society. And I believe their Highland Games are tomorrow. So it was 2 years ago that we were able to come out and visit. So we're very sad to not be able to join you this year, but we'll be back again next. So I hope tomorrow goes well. And then, like I say, a bit of a list, so I'm not finished yet. Also, the Black Watch Officers Mess and the Black Watch Family Division and Veterans Association. So can you tell us a bit more about the local Scottish community within Quebec and all of these societies that you're linked to?
Absolutely. You know, it's kind of strange because many people will think, why is he involved in all those groups? I mean, what's the point in that? Well, you see, if I was just a member of a clan, well, maybe I could join one or two. But you see, the Scottish community in Montreal is very close-knit within all the organizations here. So it's very important to join as many as you can for visibility's sake. And also, this gives you a chance to know about events happening. It allows you to learn more about how they function and their own history. And you're actually, you're building your own history with them. So I think that's really, really, really important. And in Montreal, I live in Montreal, so I'm very, very lucky. And all the Scottish associations are really downtown, so they're all kind of together. So every time there's a Scottish function, I get to see everyone, and it allows me to build strong bonds to fantastic people and all these different things. And I give you an example. So I have the Montreal St Andrews Society I really enjoyed participating in. And of course, I'm the clans director of the Montreal Highland Games. So next year, if you come down, I'm going to be presenting the clans to the public like I did in 2019. And I'm going to be taking care of the clans and making sure that they're all right and enjoying their event and so on. The Montreal St Andrews Society does a lot for the Scottish community here. And there's also, for example, the Stevenson School of Highland Dance, which is an inspiration for me because Jennifer Stevenson's in charge of that, and she trains the dancers and makes sure that it's all, the choreography's perfect and the Scottish dancing is just perfect. And it's just such an inspiration to see all that passion. Every time there's an event, you get to see the dancers and they just go at it. And lately, for the Canada Day Parade, they've participated with me in that for the Montreal Canada Day Parade, because Clan Logan's the only Scottish clan that participates in that event. And Scottish clans are not too many in Montreal per se, because here it's mostly an Irish descent. So I think in Canada, mostly the clans are like in Ontario and in other places. So it's a geographical thing. Yeah. And so I really hats off to the Montreal Canada Day Parade organizers, because they've always greeted Clan Logan open arms, and they've always been very, very good to us.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Well, like I say, we loved the Highland Games, and to think that they're going ahead without us there. But anyway, we'll be back next year.
Yeah, and you mentioned, yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned Cassock. Well, of course, Cassock isn't local to me, but I'm still a part of it. And not only am I treasurer, I've also helped them like translate their website into French. And I'm going to pretty much be the figurehead in French for them. And it's going to be quite an experience as well. So I like helping this organization grow, because it kind of represents all of us. And I want to reach out to the different Scottish communities all across Canada as well.
Yeah, well, like you say, the whole point of Cassock is to bring all those societies and clans together, isn't it? And
absolutely,
like I say, for me to be here in Scotland and still be able to join the AGM virtually and to get involved is great. So,
and it's just such a privilege, because Joanne Tuscan, who's the secretary of Cassock, she works so hard. God bless her. She's wonderful. Yeah. What an asset. And of course, William Petrie, who's the chairman. They are people who are just so passionate about what they do. It's contagious. I want to always participate. Let's go and do things, you know?
I wholeheartedly agree. So that's brilliant. And so obviously, as we've been discussing, COVID put a stop to many events in the last year or so. But I know prior to that, you were attending around 23 events annually. So that was Highland Games, parades, and other special events. So can you tell us about your favourites and how on earth you would fit those all into the year?
How does he do it? How?
Yeah.
Well, when there's a will, there's a way. And remember, when it comes to Scottish organization, you only ever get what you put in. I can't say that enough. You have to maintain the connections that you've made with different people, because people rely on you. So from year in, year out, they will come up to you and say, the Glengarry Highland Games are occurring this year. Are you coming? You were there last year. We'd like to have you again. So you have a responsibility, especially in my case, because I'm the head of the clan for the country here. So I have no choice but to be as visible as I can and do different things. And of course, I have vacation time with my regular job. So I work for a multimedia company. So I have some time off that I use for that. So that allows me to go, for example, to the United States and just spend time with Clan Logan there and participate in the Vista Games. Or it allows me to go to Fergus. And it allows me to go all types of places. And even British Columbia, where I did the Highland Games at that end at one point before going to California. It's just such beautiful experiences. It's so much fun. You just have to plan everything and see how it works with your schedule. And if you can do it, do it. And in my case, well, many events happen on weekends when I don't work, so I'm able to attend. So you just have to kind of organize things so they work. Sometimes you can't possibly go to an event, so you just do your best with what you can. So much you can do.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. And like you say, often actually they seem to be quite close together. That is how we were able to do ours here, because, M&M weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, Maxwell is the Glengarry Games, and then you drive at night over to Montreal, and then Montreal Games the next day. So
yeah, I'm having fun trying to get the clans to come and visit me in Montreal, because often cases they do the Glengarry Games, and then I tell them, come to Montreal, it'll be fun. I'm going to host and when I do things. Oh, I'm tired. The Glengarry Games. I'm 2 days of that, and then another day Montreal traveling. But like I tell them, please come. You're more than welcome. And I'm going to give you my best service. And I want you to have fun at our games as well. It's going to be fun. Just gather and meet up. This is, and among other favorites that you've mentioned in terms of events, I especially love the Montreal St. Andrews Society Highland Ball. I love the event. It's so much fun, because usually it's around November, December. It's at an expensive hotel, nice place, and it allows me to take out my finery, and I have my Montrose doublet, and then I have my plate, I have everything, and I have my jabot. It's just hilarious because the women look at me with my jabot, and of course, a man in a kilt is wonderful, but a man in a kilt with a jabot can pretty much get any lady interested.
Oh, there you go.
It's
That's
like,
the trick, guys.
yeah, and they would come up to me and, "Ooh, you have a jabot," and then they start playing with it, and it's just kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, I've heard a lot about the balls, so yeah, it sounds fantastic. We had
Yeah.
a competition for people to share photographs of their family wearing tartan, and our winner was a gentleman. I can't remember his first name, but it was definitely a McLean, and it was a
Ah,
family of them at the ball. So, and like you say, all dressed up in their finery, and probably as much McLean tartan as you could have got into one photograph. It was
yeah, and it's just
brilliant.
yeah, and it's a beautiful evening. I mean, you get to dance, you get to have a nice 5-course meal, you have some entertainment, you have a disco at the end of the evening with Motown classics so people can have fun and dance. Clan Logan these last few years has participated in the silent auction because I'm a painter. So I have painted some works of art that I've donated so that they could gather funds for the Douglas Institute of Mental Health. So I was able to accumulate a good $500 through the years with the painting sales. I think it's very important to use your abilities if they can contribute to a greater good. I think it's
Mhm.
very, very important. And I'm going to try and see if I can continue with that, in terms of like giving paintings so they can be sold for that purpose, among others. I think it's a great initiative, and it gives me a mention in their booklet. And I go, oh, look, it says Clan Logan Society of Canada. And I get all happy with that.
Oh, well, there you go. Exactly. Well, it sounds like a great thing to do. And like you say, if you can get a mention, then all the better.
Well, yeah, and then for the family division, I also like gave them a painting for their event, their Halloween event at one point, and the funds collected helped the troops, because the troops that are on faraway missions, they're far from home, and it's difficult, because they're far away from their families, so psychologically, it's not an easy thing. So
No.
basically, we send them packages, packages from home so they feel better and all the rest. So that's part of the work I do with the Black Watch family division, and it's very, very interesting when you get into the different Black Watch organizations, because not only do you get to help them out, you get to see their history and what they're all about, and there's just so much to discover all the time.
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, I was part of the Army Cadet Force here in
Oh,
Scotland, and we were then linked to the Black Watch. So, and often actually we would have cadets who would come over from Canada and do exchanges. So, yeah,
yes.
I am always amazed how similar the military organizations in Canada are to here. So it's
Yeah.
just something you wouldn't expect that close a link, but yeah, it's great.
And it's just kind of interesting because I had to look at my genealogy on the Logan side, and my great grandfather was part of the Black Watch in the UK and in
Oh,
Scotland and all
yeah,
that. So somewhere I'm coming back to my roots in a way.
yeah.
And it's
Oh,
just such a pleasure to contribute and to be part of these organizations, because keep in mind, my mother was Margaret Logan and she was my best friend. And when I lost her years and years ago, I vowed and I vowed and I said, I will be the man you expect me to be. And I'm going to do everything I can to teach and show the world all the goodness you've given me. So that's one of my driving forces right there.
mhm.
Always celebrate the people you love the most. Make them proud every day. Just go out there and do whatever you're passionate about. Find the inspiration and you're going to manage it. It's the best trick.
Yeah. Oh, well, excellent advice. So you told us earlier about your very first trip to Scotland. I'm assuming you've been back since. So when you come to Scotland, what are your must-do things or food and people you have to meet up with?
Yeah, coming back to Scotland is really like coming back to my home. It's my roots.
Mm.
It's part of who I am, and it's very strange because when I come back to Scotland, I like to go back to Sanka because I have Sanka Castle, which is in ruins, but it's still beautiful. So I like to kind of see that and just smell the Scottish air. It's just this energy. You're in a place that has so much history, and like my mother used to say, Scotland is a painter's paradise. There's always
Oh,
something
no.
to paint. It's just beautiful. Um, Lately, when I've gone back to Scotland, I kind of sensed that people were a little blasé with all that stuff. Because in North America, Scottish clans, heritage, it's a big deal. But I think in Scotland, they just want to live their lives peacefully and move on from that. And I understand. I understand,
Yeah.
but it's still nonetheless a part of who we are. It's
Oh,
okay to
absolutely.
continue on, but you have to kind of look at what's around you and just try to understand it and just move on
Mm.
from there. And I really, when I come back to Scotland, I always go for fish and chips. And I used to remember the last time I came, my aunt said, "Oh, you have to be careful when you buy fish and chips." And I said, "Well, why?" "Well, you have these really huge seagulls, and then they come and they just take your fish and chips and they run away
Yeah.
with it." And I'm like, "What? You have seagull bandits in Scotland? Really?" I couldn't believe that. And then I saw one and I was like, "Oh my God, they're humongous. They look like
Yeah.
British Airways planes with feathers. They're really, really huge." And I couldn't believe that. So I had my fish and chips in the car, and as I was eating, I was looking outside and I saw parents with children, going along the coast, and the kid was having his ice cream. And I thought, "Oh, that's beautiful." And then 2 minutes later, the seagull came, took the
Yeah.
ice cream and left. And the poor little boy was crying, and I was like, "Oh no." I felt so
Yeah.
horrible for him. And I was just kind of amazed, but I'm sure it has to do with the quality of the fish and chips and all the rest. That's why
Well,
the seagulls are so big.
yeah, exactly. It must be part of it. But yeah, that's a well-known thing here. Yeah, you have
But
to
although I
protect
can get my
your food.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
So although I could get Iron Brew here to go with my fish and chips, there's nothing beats having it, in Scotland with relatives and being outside and hearing the sheep. And it's just, it's so distracting because there you are having a conversation outside and you're eating what you're eating and now you're having your tea or whatever. And then you hear, bah, bah, the sheep are just going at it. And at first, I'm not used to it because I'm in Montreal, right? So I'm thinking someone's playing a trick on me. So you're thinking that someone's using different voices just when you're saying something.
Yeah. Well, for a
So I thought,
while we had right outside the office, and like you say, you'd be in the middle of a meeting, and then there'd be this noise from a sheep, and everyone's just kind of staring over out the window. But we don't have any at the moment. They just come here every now and again over the summer. But yeah, like you say, a little distracting, but a friendly neighbour.
yeah, and it's just a more of a slow pace. So there we are driving to destination. And in Scotland, you go up and down because the roads are not straight. And I could remember feeling a little uneasy, like, "Oh, my stomach." And then
Yeah.
suddenly you have a sheep in the middle of the road. So I'm like, "Oh, can we pass?" No, you have to wait for the sheep to move. And I'm thinking, oh.
Yeah. I know traffic jams here will be a little different in Montreal, I imagine.
Well, it's people are not in a hurry in Scotland, and that's a good thing. I mean, you have to take your time. And here we're very North American. We're kind of like, hurry up, you're going to work, and so on. So it's time we maybe calm down and take lessons from the Scots. I think it's important.
Sounds good. So likewise, when people are coming to Canada, what do you tell them that where they have to visit or what they have to go and do?
Okay, if you come to visit me, like I tell my members, like I tell all my friends, avoid the month of January, February. They're the worst months in the world to come and visit us. It's too cold.
Yeah.
So you come in the summer months, and when you come to the summer months in Montreal, you have all these festivals just waiting for you. You have the jazz festivals. I don't know if you like jazz, Emily, and like or maybe you like to have a good laugh. We have the comedy festival, and then when it's the comedy festival downtown, they put stages outside and you can have a beer and you can drink and just like watch the entertainment. A good thing to see in terms of Montreal would be like old Montreal. If you go to the old part of Montreal, it's just beautiful. You have all these old buildings that are very European look. It's just, you have places you can have a coffee outside, and you have the Port of Montreal with Le Quai de l'Horloge, which is the touristic site, and so on. So it's beautiful, and you have fireworks. There's also a fireworks festival that you can attend with the different countries, just like every Saturday night. And there's La Ronde if you like amusement parks. If you like, I'm scared of those things. You'll never see me in that.
I've been to Canada's Wonderland, but never the ones over in Montreal. So.
Yeah, I'm not too courageous when it comes to roller coasters. Oh no, I'm too old for that.
Well, the first time I came to visit my Canadian cousins, so they're actually quite close to Fergus, and I was a teenager and my cousin was like, come on, you have to come with us, and just took me on one of the biggest rides and she's like, if you can do that, you can do any. So,
Of course.
yeah, so I have them to thank for getting me over any fear. So.
But it's just Montreal is a beautiful place where people are very open to visitors. It's just very nice. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, no, that's okay. And so I was just going to say, finally, of course, I have to ask if you have a favourite of the Logan tartans or any other tartans that you're particularly fond of.
Well, I think it's very important to be proud of any tartan you choose. But I have to say I'm a little biased. I mean, the Logan tartans, okay, the Logan tartans are the best tartans out there. That's my personal opinion. Why? Because as soon as you wear a Logan tartan, people notice you. They know who you are right away. You become a star because you don't see that very often. And my personal favorite would be the Logan modern tartan. Why? Because the colors are just very dark, kind of vibrant as well, the yellow, the red. And it's just kind of paying tribute to my ancestors that come from the south of Scotland. And I think that's very important. But I also like the Logan Ancient. Our Highland Logans would wear that tartan. And I'm a great fan of our Montreal tartan 1642, where you have all the blue colors and so on, which represents the various communities that make Montreal a city. And it's beautiful. And I think a tartan really, it's a part of who you are. It's part of your identity. Be proud of the tartan you choose. Yeah. And someone even asked me, Emily, Clan Logan Society of Canada, you can make your own tartan for that. And I thought about it and I thought, that's an interesting idea. Yes, I could make my own tartan. But I'm part of something bigger, so I have to keep a certain unity. So when members, when Clan Logan members go, for example, to the United States, or even when they come to Scotland, well, wear the Logan tartan so that people can go, oh yeah, that's right, Clan Logan. It's okay to have your individuality, but it can't be the dominating tartan for a clan unless the chief of the clan says that's the one, Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense that if it's a clan society to stick to the clan tartan, but I also appreciate for other Scottish societies where they've got kind of a whole host of clans coming together that's there for, it probably is easier to create your own or pick one that's linked to the city or...
Yeah, but like, for example, for a new organization, that makes sense. A new organization, you create your own tartan and so on. So that's important, I think, is to value your tartan because it gets seen everywhere. And in 2019, when I was at the Fergus Scottish Festival and Highland Games, Lord Lion was there and I managed to meet the Lord Lion. And I couldn't believe it. I met him. You just never know who you're going to run into when you do Highland Games.
Oh, I know.
And he is amazing. He's so present for the clans. And I could remember how simple he was, how approachable he was. And deep down, I kept thinking, Her Majesty the Queen must be so proud of him. He's doing a great job, and there's this connection. And when I was able to give him Clan Logan news and tell him where we were up to and what we were doing, and he was all interested. I don't know. I've been very, very lucky with the Fergus Festival and Highland Games, even in 2017, winning Best Clan there. I couldn't believe it. My luck. I've just been very lucky in the early stage of the Clan Logan Society of Canada. These people at the Fergus Scottish Highland Festival, they're just wonderful. They gave me support because I was starting Clan Logan, in 2016. So this was the second year, and I won Best Clan. So they supported me. And they believed in me and they made me feel important. They made me feel valued. And this is something all events should do, because in the events we tend to think of bagpipers and entertainment, and clans are just basically little add-ons that you put onto Highland Games. So we have to kind of revisit that concept and realize that clans bring in family members and friends, help sell tickets for events. There's still some work to be done with clans, but I cross my fingers.
Good. And so, how can people get involved in both societies then? After your amazing tales, I'm sure we'll have some listeners who want to get involved.
Yeah, so you can always contact me. I always say the best way to contact me is through our Facebook page, because I'm very, very active on Facebook. As it is now, the Clan Logan Society of Canada doesn't accept dues to join us because of COVID. We're trying to give people a break. You know, times are a little rough right now, and organizations are somewhat suffering because of it. As of January, there'll be like a $20 due in our case per year for the members. But yes, you can contact us either, for example, on Facebook or on our webpage, clanlogan.ca. You can find all types of information, download a form, fill it out, and just send it back to me. I look forward to hearing what people have to say and if people want to join us. You know, we're a clan on the way up. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining me this evening, Stephen. And it's been great to hear more about your story and insights. And I wish you a safe next few months. And I look forward to being able to catch up again, if not later this year, then certainly next year.
Absolutely. And always keep in mind, there may be some way I can help ScotlandShop next year if you want to come down and visit. Just let me know.
Yes. Well, likewise. We'll keep that in mind. And yeah, I'm sure we'll catch up at, well, if you're doing 23 events, there's a good chance that we'll bump into each other.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for the years that I'll be as active as the past years. It kind of depends on what's happening next. You know, COVID kind of stopped many organizations, and I'm kind of worried for certain games. I'm hoping that they'll pick up, because you know, when you stop Highland Games due to a pandemic, you don't have the funds to get going again. So I'm crossing my fingers that our Highland Games will resume in Canada.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people will be so desperate to get back out there and to reconnect with everyone. So yeah, like you say, fingers crossed.
My fingers are crossed, and my fingers are actually twitching. I want to be active. I want to go into Highland Games. I have some new displays. I want to use them.
Yeah. Oh, well, at least you can tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Well, have a great evening and a great time at the games.
Absolutely. Thank you again, and long live ScotlandShop.
Oh, thank you, and long live Clan Logan.
All good. Take care. Thank you.
Yes, you too.
Bye.
Bye.